Ladies and gentlemen, I just heard the Chick-fil-A story where they sent an employee home because her hair color was unnatural to her. Do you realize the vast majority of white women that you see are not natural blondes? It is so few of them that are natural blondes. They technically can never own being blonde. They could probably own being bottle blondes. Yeah, they can certainly own that. But as far as owning being a blonde, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I used to work with these women, and all day long you would see them all flaunting the blonde hair all through the office, right? Let that mess start growing out. Every last one in the office I worked in had black roots. Every last one. So they'll just run to the hairdresser and get it touched up, or they'll touch it up themselves. But at the end of the day, they are not blondes at all. They're not at all. Just watch the way that hair grows out. It's not hard to figure it out. So when this manager says, this is hair color unnatural to you, well, blonde hair color is unnatural to the majority of white people that are out here flaunting the blonde hair. And that is the truth. So I don't know where this manager was coming from, but they were definitely full of crap, for real. So let's get into this Chick-fil-A story, y'all. I'm going to first show you a video from ABC, and then I'll be right back with the rest of my commentary.
A local teenager says she was singled out and sent home from work because of the color of her braids.
They notice blonde in your hair and they want you to come back. We'll take it out and then come back since blonde's an unnatural color to you.
Tonight, the Chick-fil-A where she worked is calling it a misunderstanding. Thanks for staying with us. I'm John Carter.
And I'm Siobhan Bryan. The company is welcoming her back to work, but the girl and her mother say no thank you. WBTV's Erica Lunsford talked to that teenager as well as her mother. Erica, you also spoke to a representative from Chick-fil-A about the incident. And what did they say?
Siobhan, 16-year-old Autumn Williams says the incident happened last month as she was finishing up her shift. She says the incident left her feeling embarrassed, so she's sharing her story so that it doesn't happen to other people. A Chick-fil-A representative I spoke to today tells me management had a misunderstanding about the company policy.
So I was just confused as to why I was being sent home.
After working at this Harrisburg Chick-fil-A off of Highway 49 for just a couple of months, that's how 16-year-old Autumn Williams described her encounter after management approached her about her braids.
She pulled me aside and she was like, hey, one of our supervisors came through yesterday and they noticed blonde in your hair and they want you to come back. We'll take it out and then come back since blonde's an unnatural color to you.
Nina Birch, Williams' mother, tells me she tried to speak to management at the Chick-fil-A for clarification, but says they shut her down.
You're being sent home because your hair color's not natural. I didn't understand what that meant.
WBTV reached out to Chick-fil-A corporate about the incident. A representative tells me a supervisor on site misinterpreted the policy and says Autumn is allowed to come back and work at the location.
I don't really see a point in coming back.
There's no word if the supervisor will receive any additional training on the company policies or any disciplinary actions. Williams and her mother are sharing her story in hopes it doesn't happen to anyone else.
I just hope that companies realize that no one fits in a box. And what you perceive to be natural based off someone's ethnicity or race isn't always necessarily true.
No one else should feel like they have to change themselves to fit into anyone else's perfect image of them.
Birch says Chick-fil-A made no attempt to reach out to her or Williams' father about the matter. As far as legal action goes, Birch says they are considering all possibility. Reporting in Harrisburg, Erica Lunsford, WBTV, on your side.
Okay, first of all, this manager sounds like a complete idiot. And if they kept this manager, Chick-fil-A should be sued for keeping her. So you heard what this young woman said. She said there were other people that had hair that was definitely not their natural hair color. This manager did not bother them. Ladies and gentlemen, what the hell does her hair color got to do with her job performance? I never in my life heard of because your hair may not be its natural color. Shoot, you would have to clear out all the companies in America if that's your measuring tool on whether somebody can do a job or not. You wouldn't have nobody employed out here hardly. It's not just women, men out here are dyeing their hair too. So if you had to go by, okay, well, that's not your natural hair color, you know how many people, even when I was a manager, I would have been able to send home? So again, what does this got to do with her job performance? No, see, they had to offer her her job back, y'all, because what this manager did was so stupid, she embarrassed the company. Talking about it was a misinterpretation. How do you misinterpretate that? How? What job have you ever been on? And if your hair is brown, let's say your hair is brown and you decide to dye it red, so you get sent home. Or if you are a brunette and you decide to go blonde, which the vast majority of these women that got blonde hair do, you got to go home because that's not your natural hair color. This manager, how did this person become a manager? And this is the way they think. How did they become a manager? But seriously, she can sue them for that. Even after they offered the job back, she can still sue them because she lost time behind this, but she made the decision not to go back, which I can understand. You know, you don't want to be in around that same person that made that particular decision in the first place. I sure wouldn't. I wouldn't go nowhere and work for that person. So I can understand where she's coming from. And you know what? Jobs at fast food restaurants are a dime a dozen. She can find a job somewhere else. That's really not a hard industry to get into. It's pretty easy. I mean, if you remember during the pandemic, they were practically on their hands and knees trying to get people in there to do those jobs, those little restaurant jobs that don't pay money, you know? So she's not going to have a hard time finding employment if that's really what she wants. You know, she's only 16 years old. So I'm sure there is some company, you know, you never know, could have seen this story and could have offered her something already. But this whole thing is ridiculous. But y'all, let me tell you one more thing before I end this video. When Mike Brown was killed, Chick-fil-A and their employees, because the owner was very pro police, probably still the same owner, he had the employees wear these pro police t-shirts not long after Mike Brown was shot to death. And from that point on, I have never ever been back to a Chick-fil-A. So, you know, they can support whoever they want. It doesn't mean I have to patronize them. And I flat out won't do it. And I'm sure you could probably still find the stories online about how Chick-fil-A was very open about being pro police. And they were doing this at a time when, after a black man was killed, they would come out in the media all pro police. And I will never step foot in another Chick-fil-A ever again in my lifetime. Now, if this is a place you like, then hey, you have at it. But as for me, Chick-fil-A has absolutely nothing that I want. Y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.